Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, I want to talk to you about the 10 best blessings for Hydra in Raid Shadow Legends. We were looking to do an updated list for hellhades.com, right? And the last video I did was ages ago. It was obviously before the Harmony blessings were added to the game, and there's been a lot of changes, really a lot of changes since then. And that video is quite out of date. It's time for an update, so let's go. The 10 best blessings. Let's actually start down at number 10 and work our way up. So in 10th place, I think the two blessings actually do the exact same thing for Hydra. I think that's Intimidating Presence, which is strengthening your aura. Weakening the enemy's aura obviously doesn't work for Hydra, but strengthening your aura and obviously Commanding Presence does the exact same thing in terms of strengthening. This is definitely number 10. It's just a very small buff. But, you know, if you've got lots of the other good blessings on your team, this gives you a very, very small boost. I really wouldn't go out of my way to get this in my team at all, but you know, it might be a nice little bonus. A little bit of extra speed or a little bit of extra accuracy or resistance to hit the thresholds that you need. It's worth pointing out. Definitely a distant 10. In number 9 then, I'm actually going to put this new Harmonic Impulse. Again, it is pretty niche, but this could be useful, I think, particularly for cleansers or buffers. And definitely those sorts, like I'd be thinking about something like maybe Feral the Barkhorn could be a decent one to run this on. Someone that's quite vulnerable to fear or true fear. And if they get feared or true feared and miss their skill, you could be kind of messed up, right? So if my Perfect Veil champion like Feral misses his Perfect Veil because he's true feared, we're in a lot of trouble. If our cleanser, who's supposed to be cleansing off true fear, misses the turn because of that, we're in a lot of trouble. This is mostly good, I would say, at like, it's really strong, honestly, even 5-star, because, you know, if you got a 3-turn cooldown, if this reduces the cooldown of that by 2 turns, if you miss it because of true fear, you get 1 turn cooldown down at the start of your turn. It brings the 3-turn cooldown right back. So this actually becomes quite potent at 5 and at 6-star. At 6-star, it fully resets. Probably not too important, but it does give you 50% turn meter, so you can get your Perfect Veil champion or your cleanser or whoever right back in. So this is new. It's definitely niche, but I'm expecting to see some Harmonic Impulse show up in some niche sort of teams. Another very niche blessing. I'm going to put actually maybe Brimstone here. I think Brimstone comes in here. This blessing I would have rated higher before for Hydra in the past. This one is giving you that smite debuff. It definitely doesn't work very well at all on auto, unfortunately, is the problem. And especially with AoE champions as well, who can be putting it on just about any enemy. You can put it on a head that doesn't end up doing anything and the Brimstone does nothing. Or it lands on a decapitated head and it does nothing. It's tricky to make Brimstone actually do something in Hydra. You know, that being said, though, if you are playing on manual, you've got this on a single target champion, and you land that on the Head of Suffering, and then he does 2 active skills back to back, you get double Brimstone procs. You know, that's sort of best case scenario. It can add up to an extra fairly significant chunk of damage, and it can make a big difference. It also, you know, even at level 1, it works pretty well. You know, for a new player, that smite debuff, you know, you've got terrible gear, your champions just don't hit that hard. This can be a significant chunk of your damage. So yeah, Brimstone, it's definitely it's a decent option. Again, it's niche, it's a bit awkward to use, but it can be nice. Next up then, it's another new blessing. It's Neutralize. Definitely, you know, it's an underwhelming blessing, but the reality is that this can be decently useful. Again, it's niche. This would be more so almost only for HP burn champions. So this, I think, is nice. Imagine someone like a Venus, right? Throw it onto a Venus. You're going to miss out on another really good blessing for her, which we'll get to obviously later. But the advantage is, okay, let's say we get just a bad overlap of stuff and the head of the Poison Cloud head spawns in and gets Poison Cloud out. We don't have any time to place burns. You know, Poison Cloud head, his turn meter is full, and then some heads respawn. They get the Poison Cloud on them. That's really annoying. They devour one of our champions. Now we can't break them free. They're under Poison Cloud. Very annoying stuff. This gives you a chance to place, like, specifically burn is the one you're looking for on Poison Cloud. This can also be okay on Provoke champions, right? We got a Poison Cloud on Head of Decay, and now he's going to cleanse everyone, and we're in real trouble. We can still land the Provoke through Poison Cloud. That's decent as well. Burns is the bigger one, because once you get a burn on, it disables the Poison Cloud. Now you can start doing your stuff as usual. So yeah, again, neutralize. It's definitely niche, but I think it does have a good place here in Hydra. It's number 7. Number 6 then is Lightning Cage. Lightning Cage, it's fairly simple. This one is again very very niche. This is mostly just for a mischief tank. You get these extra buffs, these lightning orb buffs. It helps you to bait the head of mischief. He always attacks the target with the most buffs. This can help your mischief target, someone with lots of self buffs, or they're slow, they've got lots of buffs, and you're building them with high resistance. It helps to bait that attack towards them more frequently, which is nice. When it does bonus damage, it also does a little bit of extra boss max HP. Not a ton, but it's a little bit of a bonus. And even if, sometimes resistance fails, 3% chance mischief steals your stuff anyway, while the lightning orbs can actually protect your buffs from being stolen, which can be kind of nice and just keep your mischief tanking consistent. So yeah, again, very, very niche, but it can be useful. Like, for example, I don't even run it on my Krisk anymore, though I have in the past, right? In fact, let me not spoil it, because it will give away. You could probably guess what the good blessings are, but it might give it away if I cover them now. Next up, I actually put these ones sort of back to back because they're very, very similar. I put in Phantom Touch, sort of number 5. This is really just for single target damage dealers, attack-based damage dealers, really. But it can actually do surprisingly high damage. So if you do have a high single target damage dealing champion, this bonus damage can be quite significant. It does do extra against decapitated heads, and I think it transfers well through Hex, all that sort of stuff. So Inquisitor Shamael would be a great example of a champion that can run Phantom Touch and get a lot of extra damage out of it. He's actually particularly good because his counterattacks will sort of guarantee that you get the bonus damage out per turn. And then, he can't keep doing it. It has a 1-turn cooldown. But he gets the full damage every single time he takes a turn, almost always. So yeah, Phantom Touch, very much single target focused, though. It does fall off either for champions that have ridiculously high and hard-hitting attacks or have area of effect attacks. So let's talk about another damage-dealing blessing. Let's cover a few back-to-back here. Heaven Cast. Heaven Cast is really good for any champion that either is going to have lots of buffs and hits insanely hard. When you've got enough gear, this can be really, really powerful. Or for champions that are doing AoE attacks. So I think probably the most classic champion to run Heaven Cast, and you only run it from 1 to 5 star. Only 1 to 5 star. Same with Phantom Touch, although with Phantom Touch specifically, whereas over here, you would, because Shamael ignores defense anyway, slight spoiler for a better damage blessing at 6 star, but Shamael can actually run this at 6 star to great effect. Heaven Cast is really a 1 to 5 star blessing for Hydra. The more buffs you have, the more damage you do. Simple, straightforward. So let's say a Turvold in really good gear could make use of this. Probably the most classic champion is Trunda, right? Trunda just hits so insanely hard that this damage multiplication, even though it can be kind of small, it adds up to millions and millions of damage in your run and helps you reach, for her, reach breakpoints to one-shot heads and stuff like that. But any real damage dealer that is getting lots of buffs on them, it's a great option. I actually do think, though, in the next spot, Nature's Wrath, I think, is better overall for champions that place debuffs, right? This gives you more damage percentage for every debuff that you've placed. So this can stack up very, very quickly. So champions that are going to be placing lots of debuffs, like let's say a Michinaki, for example, he places lots of debuffs. He's going to get a nice damage boost, and this can be quite substantial. Again, this is something you would run from usually 1 to 5 stars. This can be very, very powerful. And Hydra, any damage dealer that has debuffs. In the second spot, then, it's the best support blessing overall, and that's Cruelty. Whenever you hit an enemy, you decrease their defense until the end of the round, once per hit. So this works really well on champions with multi-hits, champions that attack a lot, champions with AoE. Obviously, if multiple champions have this blessing, right, you can't exceed the cap, right? So let's say my champion is a 3-star blessing. Even if other people have Cruelty, they can't increase the defense decrease past 10% on Hydra. Whereas, again, if I 3 champions with 5-star Cruelty, they're all going to stack it up quickly, but it can't exceed the 15%. Now, why this is surprisingly good for Hydra is when a head gets decapitated, Cruelty is gone, and when a new head spawns in, Cruelty is gone. So actually having multiple champions with this can stack it up pretty quickly. It's not too important against a freshly spawned head, but against a decapitated head, getting cruelty stacked up to max out your damage adds up to a hell of a lot of damage very quickly. Oftentimes, when you look at top teams, it's not uncommon for them to have like 4 support champions in just cruelty. And they're just like, we could min-max a bit with other blessings, but we'll just stack up the cruelty as quickly as possible. It is, just that useful. So let's say Lady Mikage would be a great example of a champion that could make good use of cruelty. She's fast, she's attacking every single turn, pretty much. So yeah, she's a good one. Krisk, I've got my Krisk in this now because he attacks 2 out of 3 turns and their AoE stacks up pretty quickly, and so on. Then the best blessing by quite a landslide. We saw this actually recently which showcase was it? I can't remember. I think it was the Incensa showcase on the test server. I actually, while I was trying to pull some souls on the test server, you don't have many, but I got some. I pulled a 6-star for my Wallmaster Atharion, and we were able to test this and see a huge difference in damage between Crushing Rend and Nature's Wrath. Massive difference. This is a 6-star blessing only. At 5-star, the first 2 hits each round. Now, Hydra only has 1 round, so the first 2 hits in Hydra will ignore some defense. Not great. At 6-star, number 1, you get more than double the defense ignore, but now every hit in the fight ignores a percentage of the target's defense. So every 10 levels, against Nightmare Hydra, for instance, this is just insane. So Nightmare Hydra, you're looking at level 310. You're getting 31% defense ignore. You add on an area bonus, 20% ignore defense, you're up to 51% defense ignore. You put your champions in Merciless, 35% more. What's that? 86% defense ignore. It's kind of crazy. You could slap on Cruelty 2-piece as well if you've got all those accessories. Or you could run Helm Smasher and get some extra. Some champions have natural defense ignore. It's just kind of insane. Honestly, it's just kind of insane. And nothing will compete with this damage-wise in Hydra. 6-star Crushing Rend for nearly every champion is an absolutely monumental damage increase, right? So any of the top scores you're going to see 6-star Crushing Rend be the creme de la creme, and it is the number 1 blessing for Hydra for a very, very good reason. So just to give you some context and see some of these in action, these are the current top 10 highest damage numbers in Hydra. Actually, well, Trunda is technically the top. Let's look at Trunda first so you can see the Trunda teams. Trunda variations. Over here. Oh, I guess they don't have. Oh no, they do. Sorry, I got misled. It's not millions. Sorry, this is billions of damage. Of course, it's billions. But here we can see this for a Trunda team. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 champions in Cruelty. Trunda in the 6-star Crushing Rend, and then we have the Commanding Presence. This case for extra attack for the Trunda. So there you go. That's a Trunda team. If we jump over to Nightmare, here's some options. So again, we can see here 2 champions in 6-star Crushing Rend, 2 in Cruelty. We actually have 1 Brimstone, and one. We actually do have Phantom Touch on Lady Mikage. There's a few of these that have Phantom Touch on Lady Mikage. Here's another one. We've got some Cruelties. Actually, yeah, we've got 4 Cruelties. We've got a 6-star Crushing Rend, a 5-star Heaven Cast. Again, this probably predates Nature's Wrath. I think Nature's Wrath is stronger for Michinaki now. This was run before that. So that's that one. Here's another one here. We've got 1, 2, 3 Cruelties, 6-star Crushing Rend, 5-star Heaven Cast. Again, this one might be Nature's Wrath now, and a 5-star Brimstone. And then, yes, this is the current non-Trunda world record. 5 billion. It's pretty good. You've done, that's about 6% of the Trunda keys. Not too bad. But it's an amazing key, this, though. We got 2 6-star Crushing Rends. We've got the 6-star Phantom Touch, and then 2 6-star Cruelties and 1 5-star Cruelty. So there you go. That is putting it in context. But guys, let me know, what do you think? What blessings do you like to run in Hydra? For me, those are the top 10, roughly in order. But it might vary a little bit. Definitely Crushing Rend, Cruelty are the top 2, and then the other damage blessings are good. And you got some support blessings in there. For Hydra, it tends to be fairly limited. I do think that there are some niches. So I think these Harmony ones have added in, to be fair, I don't love these blessings, but they do add in They're okay. They're okay. They add in some nice niche builds and potential for Hydra to mix things up and make a difference in some of your runs. And who knows, they might tweak blessings up or down in the future. Maybe they've done it before, usually just buffing things. So we might see some of those lesser blessings even become more useful if people don't even end up using them. But yeah, there you go. That's the top 10. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.